Thank you to patrons Boxy, Beely V, Noah Towell, Bo, Talamar Von Geist, Beefcake, Bradley Taylor, and Silky Wilkie for making shenanigans like this possible.
Aragoon. So Aragorn, dope art of Aragorn. We're working with $800, but it does look like we're working with nice printings. Lord of the Rings specific. I must have forgotten about the gigantic velociraptor in Lord of the Rings. About the Jurassic Park Lord of the Rings crossover movie. Helena and Elena are just absolutely disgusting. Like, even if you never buff Helena and Elena in a 1v1, this card, of all the things to break Lord of the Rings, I was cool when you broke it for the communist dinosaur, but for the counter cheaters, I'm down to keep Gimli's Reckless Might in here just as a flavor pick. It is certainly not the most effective thing you can do. This is the correct art for Defense of the Heart, so good job there. I want to hate you for putting Roaming Throne in this deck. I really do. I really want to shit on you because it's such a whatever, go in every deck card. You do have the flavor line of it being the throne for the king, so you are good here, unfortunately. This is not the counterspell that you just generically put in. This is the counterspell you put in because somebody rolls up with Tivit every week. I am horrified that Contagion Engine is under your Ol Reliable. We are clearly not in Lord of the Rings only, thanks to the communist dinosaur, Clifford the big red velociraptor. My favorite part of Lord of the Rings was when Gandalf started to say, "You shall not pass," and a balding black man came out from behind the corner and said, "Actually, everything's fine," and clapped his fucking hands. That was my favorite part. JoJo's Golden Ratio, a prismatic bridge. We are going to fix you. Centrip, just fucking rudeness. Oh, this is disgusting. You can just fully deck yourself with this, huh? Honestly, I'm so with this deck for everything but the mana base. There's like a 3-star Michelin restaurant menu that you are attempting to cook on one 2x4 with a Boy Scouts of America fire starting kit. Like, that is this deck. It's trying to get as many upkeeps as possible, and then it has a bunch of value triggers for upkeep, but it has things like you can get infinite mana basically into Door to Nothingness, into Helix Pinnacle, you can steal you can Triskaidekaphobia everybody to death, you can Faithbound Judge people to death, you can deck yourself with Walking Archive, you can basically go infinite on life. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, that's pretty fucking aspirational of you. I believe you. I just don't think it's ever happened. World Tree would be worth it even with no gods. And we have no Chromatic Lantern either. Chromatic Lantern is an easy get. Like, just replace Commander's Sphere instantly with Chromatic Lantern. So the only thing I would change about it is fix your lands. Get rid of Sol Ring, fix your lands. Niv Mizzet and his 2-color goon squad. Look into my internet eyeballs. You are now a part of the Gooning Reclamation Committee. Your business card is in the mail. My problem with gooning, the definition of it as currently told by the internet, is fucking stupid. The actual definition of gooning is to act in a manner consistent with the character of Henzi Toolbox Tori. He is our god, I am his prophet, I am his voice. What if we goon to Henzi? Darkend, that sounds like you're using goon in the wrong definition, and that is a thought crime. Okay, so if you haven't met second best Niv Mizzet, it's when he ETBs, reveal the top 10, and then for every color pair, you get 1. Good cards. You can put a multicolored card onto the battlefield. This is actually hot tech. This is the type of hot tech I love for decks like this, where they're downright okay until you're doing this dog, and then they're amazing. You are going for tons of 2-color pairs, and this is already Niv Mizzet Goon Squad. This thing is 19 cents. I cannot for the life of me think of a reason you would not want yet another 5-color Niv who incentivizes you to beat ass and who also gives you a bunch of payoffs for your 2 colors. I love gooning to Niv Mizzet. Gooning to Niv Mizzet is one of my favorite things to do of all time. I would vote for Xenagos to go speeding. Your commander is a 6/6, and so when it comes to guaranteeing that your deck has a win con, this stays within your 2-color game plan and accelerates your commander damage win con from 4 swings down to 2. And with all the recursion, you have the recursion in this deck of somebody that is horribly, horribly bullied. And this is how bullied kids get their get back, is making people pay 3 life every time they kill one of your toys. How expensive are these gods? Holy well, first you may need to rob a bank in Minecraft, and then rob another bank in Minecraft, and then rob a third bank in Minecraft. The Phyrexian Undead. Alright, well, we do have Mommy heading this deck up, which I appreciate. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, this type of proliferation. I get you. I like this. This is a good, you know, this is a, like, very card that is made good by your commander, and that's how commander should be. I will say, you do not seem to have made a proliferate deck. You seem to have made a deck that does do something quite goofy when you start proliferating, and you have enough ways to proliferate that you are charitably seeing 1 a game, unless people really, really let you cook. But if anybody is really, really letting you cook, when you lay down Marchesa the Black Rose in your command zone, they have clearly never experienced a gas leak before. This deck is going to church every Sunday. It is cooking apple pie for their parents. It is helping little old ladies across the street. It's not kicking anybody in the shins. In fact, this deck will notice that your shoelaces are untied before the parking lot fight and will warn you such that you can tie them. Radstorm would be great. Storm, proliferate. I don't know that you have, I don't know that the rest of your deck is set up to storm very well. All will be one, absolutely a very good one. And then I think as you get more proliferate up, you could eventually do Tekasol. You currently don't have enough proliferation, but like you could 100% make this a Grixis proliferation deck. You instead mostly have a Grixis do stuff deck. You have a Grixis sometimes proliferate, always Marchesa deck. And I think some of the weaker stuff, like honestly Shadows of the Past, could go. $2,500, 30 lands. What did you spend it on? The crack you smoked while you made the list? So 29 lands. Because this doesn't tap for anything. Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Lion's Eye Diamond, Jeweled Lotus, you are going to hell. Oh my god, discard your hand, draw 3? This is getting a little nasty. On the theme of I'm a greedy little shithead who wants to put a bunch of AAA batteries in a sock and hit somebody with them. Yeah, this deck just said, I don't need lands if I can just mulligan mid-game every time I don't have Mana Crypt. Let's just get hateful. If we're gonna be hateful, let's stand on it, because this deck is absolutely unreasonable. This is like watching a football player try to run a half marathon. Like the first 2 turns can just be so cranked, and then as soon as you stop, it's just draw go. So let's see, we have turn 1, do that bullshit. Oh, and we have fucking Wheel of Fate. So we would just suspend Wheel of Fate for 4. Cast Imidane, turn 2. Get Neheb. Swing Imidane. We'll say we get 4 mana. We'll suspend Siobhan Meteor. And then we're almost down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would honestly just swing out. If we could get the 8 mana, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 to everybody turn 4. Holy f***. This deck is incredible. If I was going to suggest anything to add, I would add an extra planar lens to this deck. I don't know what the f you would cut though, because so much of this deck is just insane gas. Cut a land? True. 1 more land. Take 1 more land out. What could it hurt? It's just a bunch of rich kids aimlessly walking around, hoping that one day everything works out for them. 36 lands. Unfortunately reasonable. A shitload of ramp, also reasonable. I'm really seeing the be expensive theme now. Chains of Mephistopheles, so that you can have a break to call a judge during casual games of Commander. So these are really just in here because they cost $1 billion. The deck is $35,000 and has at least 2 $1 cards. It has a 50-cent card in. I hope that you have at least minor tendonitis in your hands from how quickly you resolve all these triggers. I feel bad for you that you are such a broke that you need to put a 40-cent card into a deck. most deserved Finn kill I have ever seen, because as soon as this deck starts going, it is never, ever, ever stopping. Like, dude, this deck makes fun of people that shop at Costco. This deck is absolutely prejudiced. I don't know against who, but against somebody. This deck lobbies against workers' rights, bro. This deck talks about how it pulled itself up by its bootstraps. You need to have a good credit score to play this deck. This deck thinks couponing is cheating. If there were only 34 lands in between the Shire and Mordor, we would have gotten half a fucking book and it would have been over. Put some respect on the world and up your mana base. And again, what is it with Aragorn players and the dragon we found along the way? Why is Elspeth here? Allies of the Fellowship. Winota? Here's my Lord of the Rings themed deck alongside CEDH All-Star Winota Joiner of Forces. All right, we can fix this. No, we can fix this. Rhystic Study and Smothering Titan. Roaming Throne, Parallel Lives. Okay. We're taking this deck into surgery right now. I think if you do want to lean more in towards human soldiers, Ferris Rokir. Most of the Fellowship is multicolored. Most of your support is multicolored. So if you move away from Winota, Rokira could go in. It could be raising an army if you want to keep it flavorful. Sorry, replace Winota with Boromir. Catilda would be sick as is a human, eventually makes your board very wide to finish the game off. Kyler yesterday becomes an ally of the Fellowship, right? This is Humans Rise Up is now the name of the deck. And then I think the Doors of Durin would also be good. It's cheap, but it cheats you out a bunch of creatures. It's like gathering the Fellowship that way. Absolutely Heroes Podium. That immediately pulls together legendary matters. You don't have a theme to this deck. You have the beginnings of a theme with the 14, and then you depart from it very, very quickly. And we should instead return to it, and probably return to it around human synergies and legendary synergies. And then you can make something thematic and bad and much more enjoyable to play. I hope you have a good night, and remember to stay toxic.